We are thousands of years of history. We are 60 million stories. We are a community. One nation. Italy. We know how to amaze because we can still be amazed. By a sunny day after a heavy storm. By acts that warm the heart. Or bonds that unite. By challenges we know how to win. Cultivating our roots, we can imagine our future with big ideas and small details. With wise acts and solid values. Smiles and wisdom. It is our soul, our geography, our land, and our sea. Our flavors, our culture. It's our brilliance. It's the way we are. And when we're together, we can do even more. We know how to welcome and impress. Fall in love and make others fall in love. Entertain and teach. Listen and channel energy. Win and move hearts. We're ready to play, but know how to take it seriously. This is the awe. We are the awe. Proud to be Italian.
Okay, here we are. Welcome everybody. Welcome Tim and welcome Joe. It's always a pleasure to see you even off screen. And yeah, for who is listening or seeing us today, this is our second episode of Italy Referrals and lo Specialista Immobiliare di Zona. We flight to Florida a few weeks ago, and because we had two realtors from there, but it was funny because they met each other just during the recording. So it's beautiful to see how we can do relationship as well in this case. And let me introduce a little bit our hosts, and then I will you guys be free to introduce yourself as well. So I would like to say, as always, how me and Alex, that he wasn't able to join us today, met our hosts. So we met Timothy during our CPIS certification last September. So we met him before online, and then we recognized him in Houston at the NAR NXT last year. So yeah, Tim, I think that we met during the RRC gala dinner, because we were seated at the same table. So it was so funny because I recognize you, and I told Alex, I already saw him, but I don't know where, because you met a lot of people. And then we met Jojo during our Italy Referrals presentation on Sunday. So at the booth where there is networking from all of countries. And Jojo, you came to us to try our tools to put in relationship Italy and USA realtors that need something. Okay. Oh, Jojo, we lost you for a while. No worries. It's okay. Yeah, I was telling to Tim and to all of our listeners that you came to me and Alex on the Sunday of the event in Houston, because we were like very busy presenting our project that it's Italy Referrals GPT. So also who is seeing us could check the website. And this is a tool that could put in relationship every realtors that wanna help their buyers to buy a home in Italy, but they maybe really don't know how to do, not how to do, but how to deal with the bureaucracy of Italy, of course, one of the main point. And you know that they needs a hook in Italy. So yeah, was really, really nice to meet you guys. And we are so glad to have you here. So now I just stop talking and I will let you guys introduce yourself. Our first question, after you can tell us about a little bit what you are doing right now, but also what you did in the past, especially your really first day as a realtors, or as you prefer, your really first day as in the real estate. So maybe you are in the real estate before to become a realtors. So yeah, feel free to give us a panoramic.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know. You can choose who want to start.
You want to go, Jojo?
I don't mind. I can go first. That's fine. Well, first of all, thanks for having us on the show. This is really quite a fun thing to be involved in. And it was fun meeting you and Alex in Houston on the last day, which was a big rush at the conference. And I remember just the energy that you guys had. It's like Alex, he just seems to bounce. So it's like instant connection. Like he's a great realtor because he's got that bouncy personality. But I've been involved in real estate for nearly 30 or over 30 years now. And I came from a business background, and during the 80s, we had, a lot of things going on around the world in terms of finance. And we were one of those ones that were bankrupted with everything that was going on in the I think, am I back?
Yeah, no worries. Just keep going.
We've got snowstorms here in New York at the moment, and I think it's interrupting our signals. So sorry about that.
No, you're right. No worries.
So after, we were bankrupted, I decided I wanted to do something for myself. And that something I wanted to do for myself was in real estate. And I ended up in property management. And I found that a very fascinating side of property management. And coming from a business background, I was quite astounded at the lack of systems and knowledge and leadership. And within the
Hello, Jojo. I didn't know about the snow in US, to be honest. Okay. Okay. Yeah. No worries. I was telling Tim I didn't know about the snows.
These storms.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah. So within the first few days of working in the industry, I decided that I wanted to learn everything about real estate and work in the capacity that I'm working in now. And that is, I'm an international coach for the business of property management, the operations and service side of property management. But I've also brought that into the sales side of business as well. So, I believe that there was a big split between sales and property management. The two didn't talk, and it was a real kind of like negative gap between them. So, right now, and for almost 20 years, I've been working as a coach and consultant in property management. I worked in California just before the pandemic, and I was the vice president of a independent real estate company there, a vice president of property management. We had 3,000 agents at this company. So I got to know the mindset and the psyche of sales agents, and I was able to bring that into what I'm doing now. So, it's a little bit about my background, a very, very quick overview. But I will never, ever, ever, ever forget my first day as a realtor, because I was all excited. I was showing clients through my first ever property by myself. And, you have that nervous excitement. And I've got this habit of walking very fast. And I was walking very fast, talking to them. And I didn't know that there was a little thing sticking up in the driveway. And the driveway was sloped down. So I tripped. And because I was walking very fast, I didn't just trip. I went flying through the air, hitting on my face and hands and on my chin. And then I got up, and because I was so embarrassed and because I'm naturally kind of like a bit of a giggler, all I could do was laugh. So I laughed and laughed. I showed them through the property, and just couldn't stop laughing. And they took the property. But I will never, ever forget that moment of sheer panic and at the same time joy at being able to laugh at myself. And the mess I looked, I had blood on my hands, on my chin, and I was all dirty. But it was like, I knew after that, it was like, this is where I want to be. I love real estate. So
Okay, this is so funny. I was asking to you if at the end they took the house, if they buy the house. So this is so funny.
yeah, it's a fun memory.
Okay, thank you, Jojo. Thank you for sharing with us these funny moments.
Pleasure.
And now it's your turn, Tim.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Tim Ferruzzi. I live in Greenville, North Carolina, kind of the mid-Atlantic region of the United States. And as a kid, I lived in Naples, Italy, or Castelvolturno, I guess is the way you pronounce it, north of Naples, for 3 years. My dad was stationed over there in the military back in the early 70s. And so we came back to the States and went to North Carolina, where there's a big military base called Fort Bragg with the Army. And so I grew up in Fayetteville, North Carolina, which is where Fort Bragg is, which Fort Bragg is like one of the biggest military bases in the world, of the free world. And so my mom and dad both got their real estate license in the mid 70s. So we arrived in North Carolina around 74, and they both got their real estate licenses. Dad was still in the military full time, and mom was mostly using her license in the retail setting, selling residential properties, and dad had his license, to buy properties, just to understand the business and to occasionally make some commissions as they worked out. But his job was mainly full-time military and then buying properties for the family. And so I grew up in it, and also did construction work on our rental properties. So I kind of started learning how to do plumbing and painting and all those things. So when I turned 18, which is the age you have to be to get a real estate license in North Carolina, I went and got my license. And back in 1985, when I was 18, that was a very young age to get a license. Still is, really, but I was one of the youngest people in North Carolina to have a license. In fact, I still have the same license number from back then. A lot of people have 350, 370,000. Mine's like 89,000. So I was working on my dad's properties growing up. He'd get us up every Saturday and Sunday morning. We'd go paint and this and that, worked all summer. And I said, I'm going to get my license. And of course, when I went to get my license, my parents were divorced when I was about 16. So, I wanted to pursue real estate at 18 with my license. And my dad was kind of upset because he wanted me to work in the business, taking care of the property. So I lost some privileges with cars and things. But my mom's friends at the brokerage, she worked for a big brokerage house, that one summer one of the main brokers let me use his old car. And but what I found with the real estate business at that young age is it was going to take time to make money. And I'm 18 years old and I'm getting ready to go to college in the fall. And I'm like, wow, I got to put food on the table. I can't do this. So, I did an open house and I was very motivated, ambitious, but just didn't have any financial backing to, go 3 or 4 or 5, 6 months without any money. So, it wasn't long lived in my real estate career. And I went to college 2 or 3 months after I got my license, 2 months, whatever it was. And and my major in college was finance. I was a business major and ended up getting my MBA years later. But when I was 20 years old in college, I think I was a year or two in college, I started my own construction company doing odds and ends, handiwork for people. And I still have that company to this day. Roofing, plumbing, painting, the whole deal. I'm a licensed general contractor as well, and licensed plumber and real estate broker. So, and during most of my lifetime, I used my real estate license kind of like my dad did, just buying my own properties, understanding the business, and kind of building up assets for my family. And didn't really sell for the public. And then about 3 years ago, and I let my license go in 2008. I was involved with the financial crisis. I had bought a bunch of properties from 2004 to 2007, 2008, and I took a huge bath, lost millions of dollars of assets. And I decided to let my license go during that whole period because of various things, liability, a bunch of different things, and learned a valuable lesson going through that crisis. Like lots of people lost money all over the world through that, especially in the United States. So 3 years ago, I went back to school through a community college and did the 6 weeks, 8 weeks, night classes, and then took the exam. I think there were 74 people that started this class with us, half of them online, half of them in the class, and 3 passed the class. Wow. Everybody else failed in order to take the state national exam, which I did, and I passed it and all that. So nicely, the commission gave me my original license back. So that was a good thing. I was hoping they were giving my original license number back. But going back to the first day when I was at my first day of real estate, I can't remember exactly, but I do remember I did an open house. I mentioned that earlier. And what I'd done is I went to the mall and put out flyers on all these car windows in their rain, whatever those things are, and passed out 1,000 flyers promoting the open houses. Back, nowadays you can't do that, but back in the 80s, that was a little bit more permissible. And so people came to the open house, and I had created a flat price idea that instead of me making 3% at 18 years old, I said, you know what, I'll sell your house for $800. And then we'll make sure that the buyer side gets the commission they would normally get. So I kind of created this idea of flat pricing. And I got some pushback because the firm my mom worked in, they didn't really like that idea that I would only be getting a small percentage flat pricing. But it was my idea that I thought I could do a volume amount of business. I mean, no one really said anything negative to me, but I could tell that I was kind of like ruffling the feathers of the establishment with that idea. Of course, now there's a lot of people doing that. Not that I do it. I mean, I do understand why we should be getting more commission. And I feel sorry for the people that do the flat pricing stuff, honestly. But it was hard work. So that was kind of my, when I had the open house, people came in and they asked me questions. Of course, I'm 18 years old. You got a 30-year-old or 40-year-old or 50-year-old walking in, and you're trying to talk business as an 18-year-old, and they barely respect you. There's that youth discrimination, which is a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's my story on how I began and kind of how I carried on to where I'm at right now.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for sharing with us. And it's always nice to see how, even if we are from different kind of maybe background or generation, in Italy to have when I got my license, in 2021, so not really long time ago. Also, I did it in Milan, and there was a lot of people doing my course, and very few of them got the license. So as you were telling before, Tim, and it was so nice of you to came back at school after a lot of years. And as well, I know my first day was like Alex sent me to we had this flat to rent in the really it's we still have it, so sometimes we rent it again. But I didn't know nothing about the flat. It was my first day, and Alex gave me the keys and told me, okay, you can go to do the visits. And yeah, now it was so funny, but my first day was what I have to do here. I don't know nothing about that. Yeah, thank you guys. So I was thinking about that you both have last names that could be Italian.
Yes.
So I will pronounce that Oliveri and
Mhm.
Ferruzzi in Italian, of course.
Yes.
So this is good because could introduce my second question. So, what's your relationship with Italy, of course, and what do you think about how Italy and Italians are seen in the other part of the world, of course in the US, but as well also in Australia, if you want to tell us something about that, Joe. So yeah, this is the topic. Let's go.
Okay. Well, my name Oliveri is actually my married name, and I'm no longer married to that man. We were married for nearly 30 years,
Okay.
and Oliveri is Calabrian, so they're from the south, whereas my family, they actually originate from the north, near Piedmont.
Okay.
Piemonte. So my mother's maiden name is Toya. So yeah, I've got a lot of Italian heritage, and although I was born in Australia, I'm very, very connected to my Italian heritage. Very connected. It's like something I feel like on it to have my Italian connection. Um, I love the country. I was lucky enough to spend 5 weeks just traveling around all of the different areas and beautiful cities, and just fell in love even more. And it's like I can see why, even though before that I'd never visited Italy, I felt such a connection to Italy. And I think it's in your DNA. It's just
Yeah.
where your heritage is. Um, and I'm very much an Italian food lover. And, we used to, when the children were younger, it was always Italian at least 3 nights a week,
Okay.
different forms of pasta. I'm known for my lasagna. I'm famous for my lasagna.
Oh
Um,
wow.
so everyone loves my lasagna. But yeah, it's like the connection I feel with Italy is something that's very deep, and I think it's in my soul. And although I can't speak the language very well, not at all actually, I can only say the rude words.
Okay, yeah, it's,
I
it's
learned
so
the rude
common. It's so common. It's the one that you learn first.
Exactly. So, my goal is when I retire that, and I've got more time because I'm constantly traveling now, is that I do Italian. Like I want to learn Italian because it's such a beautiful language, and I can understand words when I hear people talking, but I can't speak the language. So, yeah, the way Italians are viewed across the world, and I've lived in many different countries. I've lived in Australia. Obviously, I was born in Australia, and I've returned back to Australia because I've got grandchildren now. So, I'm very connected with the grandchildren. But I've lived in New Zealand, I've lived in Papua New Guinea, I've lived in the USA, and I've lived in Canada. And it is, Italy that keeps calling me back there. But, if I get into conversations and, when we start talking about Italy, it's a very good topic of conversation. Everyone loves Italy. Everyone loves the way Italians get so animated when they talk. And I love it when I'm with the cousins because it sounds like everyone is yelling at each other. But it's their passion in the way that they communicate. And I love that. I just love how Italians are very connected to their heritage and very protective of it and, love sharing how beautiful Italy is. And, as you travel around the different regions and everything, they're all so different. And I love that, each of them had their own flavor. So you knew what providence you're in because of the flavors and the way that they're cooked, and they all look slightly different. So my children, because they've got the half southern Italian and then the northern Italian, they've ended up with the brown eyes. I've got the green eyes from northern Italy, but my second son, he had a combination of like green and brown, just beautiful eyes. So yeah, my children are gorgeous looking, and I always say that's the Italian in them. So,
That's yeah.
yeah, exactly. But I think a lot of people talk about visiting Italy, or even buying a vacation home in Italy, but they don't do it, and I think they're missing out on something special. I think they think it's too difficult to have a vacation home in Italy, or there's other parts of the world that they want to visit before they go to Italy. And it's like I think everyone should put Italy at the top of their list. And when it comes to vacation homes, if you're based somewhere else, I mean, we're actually looking at a vacation home in Italy now. We just don't know where. So yeah, I think everyone is in love with the romantic side of Italy, and the way Italians talk. It's like a song coming from their mouth, except for when they're with their cousins and they're like very loud and animated. But that's my connection to Italy. As I said, even though I wasn't born there, I feel that's where my soul is, like my heart and soul are in Italy. I just love it. So yeah, that's me and my connection to Italy.
Thank you, Joe. I think that next time, I don't know when, but we could do this recording in Italian when you will be ready for that. And yeah, of course, also I'm living abroad since 3 years now. I spent 3 years in Australia, and I'm in New Zealand right now. But I always miss that part of Italy that you were talking about. So yeah, thank you. So Tim, now we're ready.
So I did speak Italian when I lived in Italy as a kid because that's when I was learning to speak. and I spoke English. We went to an English school, but I spoke Italian because we lived amongst the Italians in Castel Volturno. And when I got back to the States, I had to go to reading classes because I was having such a hard time reading and learning English because, I was speaking Italian. Of course, my parents weren't speaking it, so I lost all of it. Loved Italy. Some of my favorite times when I think about my youth. That was my favorite time of my youth, living in Italy for 3 years. We had such a great time as a family, and lots of great memories. So, and we did visit, me and my wife and 2 daughters. I have 6 children, and my 2 youngest daughters was my second wife. So she had 2, I had 2, and then we had 2 together, and we're still together. And so we visited with our 2 daughters 3 years ago, and we stayed in the south part. I flew into Rome, and I think they were a day behind me, and they flew into Naples, I think. I can't remember. And then, of course, Naples, spent a little time in Naples. We were in Pompeii, Salerno. We spent most of our time down in the Pompeii, really Salerno is where we spent most of our time, because that's where my family's from. My paternal side, in the 1870s, my great-great-grandmother and grandfather came over from Salerno, or really from Vitri Somati, is where we're really from, and came to the United States and went to Philadelphia and made a life in Philadelphia. He was a tailor, and they had 9 kids. They brought 2 kids with them from Italy, and they had 7 more in the States, and lived, died, and worked in Philadelphia. In fact, when I was in Philadelphia, I got some friends, some Italian friends up in Philadelphia, and I've went up about 2 or 3 or 4 years ago, and found the cemetery where my great-great-grandparents are buried, which is called Holy Cross, which is right outside of Philadelphia, and learned a lot about them. Went to their house that they built on 15th Street in Philadelphia. And so going back to, so paternally, but what happened is my great-grandfather, he married not an Italian, he married an Irish woman. And then my grandfather married a German woman. And then my dad married a woman with a lot of English in her. And here you've got the blonde hair and the eyes, and definitely Italian. I think my dad was the last Francis. Francis was always in our name, Francisco or Francis.
Yeah.
It was a first name, middle name, or third name of the 4 names or whatever. And I'm Timothy David, so Catholic name. But experience with me being Italian in the States has always been a good thing. People love my name, my last name. Oh man, that's such a cool last name. And I've always gotten a lot of respect here in the States, being partially Italian, and have always found that to be a very important thing for me and my siblings. We've always thought of that as a strong thing. And the way I view Italians, or how Italians are viewed here in the States, would be exactly how I just explained. I've always gotten a lot of respect here, even in the South. There is some, probably, it's a different name. It's not like a Smith or a Johnson or this or that. So, but I think the South, if you look back at some of the things the South has gone through, or even the States, like Prohibition and things like that, the Italians really made their mark in the States. And I think most of it's been very sexy and good. Obviously, there are some negatives, but generally speaking, I think we've done a very good thing as Italians, establishing ourselves in the United States. And a lot of very successful people come from Italy, and and I think very highly of Italy. I love the food. I'm trying to figure out how we can get that sauce over here. I can't find it at any restaurant. I mean, it's unbelievable. I guess it's the organic things that they do over there, and everything's very localized. And we don't have that. We do have some people doing a very good job with the dough here, some real Italians, but they can't seem to get the sauce figured out. And so, yeah, love Italian food. I do composting at my house, and I accumulate these pizza boxes, and I think I put a pizza box in my compost maybe once a week, maybe once every 10 days. It's amazing how much pizza I eat. And, all the other pastas and red sauces and white sauces. And I'm not a huge seafood guy. When I was living in Italy as a kid, we ate seafood all the time. I remember the guy in our neighborhood pushing the cart in the 70s through the neighborhood with all the seafood hanging off of it and the fresh seafood, pushing the cart through our street. We were on a horseshoe street, which a lot of those, they had in Castelveterno, you have these streets that are horseshoe shaped, and at the front of the street, typically you would have like a store, and there still exists. And when I went back 3 years ago, I spent 3 or 4 weeks out there, and I spent a week extra without my family, getting to know the area. And I had a friend of mine that was local that took me to Castelveterno, and I kind of saw what they went through and their transitions. And, since the 70s, their downward trend, and now their upward trend. And because a lot of the Americans left, there was a lot of American money coming in to that part of Italy, and because of the military back in the 70s. And then it changed, and that place went south and got controlled by a lot of bad elements, and I think now it's coming back around. But prices in real estate prices in Italy are generally very reasonable, at least where I was. Now, we did do the Amalfi Coast and Capri as well, which is obviously expensive. I like Salerno. Now, I have not spent any time in Tuscany or Venice or any of that, and I will one day, but I'm kind of partial to the area that I'm from paternally.
Of course. I think that, of course, a lot of USA retired people are looking to buy a second home in Italy, and especially in the south or in the middle of Italy. For example, I'm from Milan, or close to Milan. So both me and Alex, our main business is in the north. But of course, also when you see some Italian films or something like that about also what you were talking before, Joe, it's it's a lot of the middle of the southern part, because of course also for summer and for traveling, it's the best part. Even if also with the Olympics that they are just ended, we saw a lot of good stuff as well in the northern part that maybe for foreign people, of course, maybe you don't choose Milan to come because it's a like business city. Of course, it's a fashion city, but maybe you prefer, like my favorite is Florence, for example. So I think it's amazing. And but yeah, as well, after the Olympics, we saw a lot of interest, and we are so proud of that, because it was really a good event for us, both for short-term rentals, but also for long-term view, because a lot of people is starting thinking about if before they were thinking about maybe I could buy a home in Italy, now they are thinking stronger. So yeah, we're really proud of that. And as well, I'm abroad right now. I spend talking about food 1 month and a half in Italy for Christmas with my family. And it's amazing how can we eat food is amazing. So I will fly directly to New Orleans next year for the NAR.
Yes.
But of course, Tim, I will tell Alex to fly from Italy with the tomato sauce or something like that, so we can do
Bring
something.
bring me some, please.
So we are just at the last of our questions, and I love it because it's more a conversation that like simply different questions, and it's more about your business, so more in the present. Of course, if you have some trends that you want to share with us, both of North Carolina. I know you, Joe, are more in the coaching part, but also if you want to talk about what is your main business about property management right now. So yeah, some insights of what are you doing right now, and that's it.
Okay. So my main business is we're seeing a big shift in the industry in terms of operations. And this is as a result of AI and technology. So what we're seeing, I had this magnificent benefit of working with 3,000 agents in Southern California and understanding the challenges that they had and the way that they viewed property management. And that kind of combined with what was going on with technology and AI. So we're developing systems. We believe that agents will be able to manage property, but not in the traditional sense of managing property. As well as there's a big transition going on within the property management industry as they adjust to, the change that this AI and technology is bringing about. So, like at the moment, 60% of what a property manager does can be done by AI. And it's not about replacing people. It's about changing mindset and roles. And also we've got to, be smarter in business because it's becoming more and more costly to run a business. There's a lot more risk and liability involved in business as well. So I spend a lot of my time working or understanding, learning about technology and AI, and then developing it into operating systems for property management. And as a result, we're creating systems for agents to manage properties, which is a wonderful thing, which kind of means that, we're moving into a borderless world. The more we go into this, the more we can do transactions, manage property, regardless of where we're located and the property's located. I love where the industry is going at the moment, and I always want to be at the forefront of that. So I'm constantly in a learning cycle. I've done a lot of training through the Disney Institute, and the Disney Institute is a wonderful pathway for learning leadership skills and culture skills, but also, operations, because Disney is all about seamless operations, efficiency, effectiveness, and making sure that the experience that the guests have is something that all they're thinking about is the experience. They're not thinking about what's going on in the background. And so we've brought a lot of that into the property management, the service side of what we're doing. So at the moment, I travel between the USA and Australia in particular. I've just been to Saudi Arabia. Fortunately, I was out of there before all of this terrible turmoil started. But, we really are a global industry. And I think the more we understand that, the more we will work well together, regardless of where we're located. That's really my role in the industry. I speak at conferences and run training workshops, consult one-on-one with businesses and big organizations, and really just love what I do. I'm super excited about where our industry is heading. And I got my Certified International Property Specialist designation way back in 2005. I was the first person in the Southern Hemisphere to get that because I recognized that, you know, borders were breaking down. And we had to be ready for that. And yes, every country does things slightly differently. They've got, you know, their own, you know, way of selling, or their own way of even selling titles to properties. And that's what we as certified international property specialists understand. So I think having this designation is key to where we're transitioning in the world of, you know, borderless countries. So yeah, but in terms of, you know, what's going on in marketplaces, we're seeing strong opportunities for people to invest in property, because we had a lot of people pulling away from property after the pandemic. For some reason, people wanted to sell their properties, and you know, there was a lot going on there with rises in you know, mortgage rates, and you know, just pressure on jobs, changing jobs, all sorts of things. But what we're seeing now is a shortage of housing. There's a short supply of housing. And I think, you know, this is a time for people who are interested in investing in property, or if you're not interested in investing in property, understand the benefits of investing in property and think.
We lost her in the best part.
Mm-hmm.
Should we come back? Okay, no worries.
So yeah, this storm in New York, it's like it's very cold, and I think it's, you know, snowing and all sorts of things. So I think it's, you know, like, again, just as the service side and technology and AI side of things is becoming very interesting. I think what's going on in terms of people now starting to feel, you know, more comfortable and confident with investing in property, us as agents, our role is to remove any of the kind of like the barriers that are holding people back from thinking outside of their own marketplace and buying internationally. And you know, spread your kind of like risks, but also spread your opportunities, because everyone says spread your risks. I say spread your opportunities, because, you know, markets are fluctuating at different rates around the world. And yes, so even though, like, I'm based in Brisbane, I really do see real estate as a global perspective. So
yeah, this is why we're doing this recording, of course, and also this is why me and Alex as well took the CPIS certification last year, and I totally agree with you. Also, we are really into the AI intelligence, but as well, we really believe in put your own intelligence in the artificial one, because at the end it's all about you can deal with everything you don't have to do with an AI, and then you can just focus on the connection and networking. So this is really yeah, I totally agree with you.
Yeah, it's exciting. It really is, because it's, you know, like, we are a service industry, and the more we can focus on the service, then the more those clients will engage with us. They'll become loyal. And, you know, with the information AI generates like, there's no emotion in it. It's real-time information. So they're getting the facts. They're not getting someone's perspective on something. And as agents, it's our time to shine. It really is. Because this is the real service side of what we do. So yeah.
Of course. Okay. Tim, it's your turn.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. I agree with both of what with both of you, Alice and JoJo, on what you said. You know, and I'm in the market at some point to buy something over in Italy, down in the Salerno area, and have actually done a little looking, and didn't realize there was a big difference there between an attorney and a notary. That the notaries do a lot of what attorneys do here in the States, and
Yeah.
when you hire an attorney to do something in real estate, it's usually a bad thing. Buyers or sellers get kind of nervous if you come in with an attorney. So I work with Keller Williams, which is a international name. So I work under that umbrella here in North Carolina. And, in North Carolina, we're one of the fastest growing states in the United States. In fact, we have people internally within the states. Our highest migration here is from Florida, Miami, Chicago, New York, and out in California. We have a lot of people coming from those areas into North Carolina. And of course, we're licensed in North Carolina. We have a license in South Carolina. We can help you with Virginia, and with our network, we can help you anywhere in the United States, because in fact, I've got a friend from high school that wanted me to help her sell her commercial property in Georgia. And I contacted somebody within Keller Williams that's helping me with that. So I'm, still involved in that transaction and able to communicate with both of them in it. So, I'm personally a commercial broker more so, but I set up a residential team this past summer. So I created a residential team because I was trying to raise money for a foundation related to mental health. So I said, well, let me set up a residential team. So I now have 3 people in addition to myself on the team, and we've got 3 more people coming on the team here in the next 2 weeks to 2 months. And we'll probably get to about 10 people on this team. It's called Kyler's team. It's named after one of my sons. And so I am in the residential business and the commercial business. Most of my residential stuff I kind of give to my team, unless it's, something very unique or different. And I handle most of the commercial. Of course, I'm letting my team also get involved in some commercial as they want. I'm a small scale developer of sorts, very small. I mean, I buy buildings, properties, and flip them or keep them and hold them as investments. I do a variety of different things, and I help people with that as well. We sell land, and I do have my certified international property specialist. As you know, Alice, you and I and Alex did that together, and also got my master's in business, finance specialty, economics, general contractor, licensed plumber, and insurance license, and probably a few other things I can't remember. But glad to help anybody that wants to do business in this area or anywhere in the United States. The beautiful thing about the United States and a lot of other, and some other countries as well, not a lot, but other, is the private property rights here in the States. If you buy an investment here, you don't have to live here to own it. If you rent it out to a tenant, you don't have to worry about them staying in it for 3 years and not paying rent. You have very strong property rights in this country, which is important. When you put money out there, you don't want people taking advantage of the situation, and you want your investment to be strong. And I'm not saying that they're not strong in other countries, but you as an investor in this country have very strong property rights, some of the strongest in the world. And that's why we have so much money coming into the United States. And that's why probably some of our ancestors came here, is for the opportunities that are here. And you can start with nothing here. And if you're ambitious and you want to make a living, you can do it. Other countries, you can't do that as easy. In America, you still have the opportunity to become a multi-millionaire with nothing. If you have ambition and you're honest and you work hard, you can do it, period. Absolutely. And that's the great thing about the United States. And that's why the United States, I think, is so powerful and so strong, is because we allow people from all over the world to come here. We're a melting pot. We honor all religions, beliefs, as long as you do your thing. And I think that's what's made the United States so strong. I'm not saying we don't have problems. We have problems like everybody else. But, the beautiful thing is that we have so many diverse people from all over the world here, and they're accepted, and the opportunities are here. And I think the United States is a beacon for the world in a lot of ways. And I know that there's people that have opinions about us and that and this and that, but we're all the same. We all are the same people all over the world. People love it here. And of course, we love it in Italy, it's a great place to invest, and I'd be happy to help anybody that wants to invest in this area of the States.
Of course. Thank you so much. At the end, we said like almost 1 hour, so I'm happy. We chatted a lot, and thank you for sharing with me your experience and your thoughts about everything we talk about. And yeah, that's pretty much. Joe, I wanna just tell you have a good flight, safe travels back home.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
yeah, Tim, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to
See you
be
in
with
New
you
Orleans
guys.
next year.
Yeah, of course, we will be there. So
Yeah.
if you guys will be there, we will organize an Italian dinner.
Yeah.
And next time I'm in Italy, I'll be seeing you guys for sure.
Yes, or
Of
if you're in
course.
Australia.
Yeah, of course. So,
Wonderful.
thank you.
Pleasure, and thanks for inviting us along.
Yeah,
Okay.
no worries.
Okay.
Take care,
Have a
everybody.
good afternoon.
Thanks, Alice.
Bye.
Bye, Timothy.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao.